Joining us here on Racing Dirt On Demand is the boss man, the owner of USMTS and USRA, Todd Staley. Checking in back in Webster City in your office. It's certainly been a trying week. How you hanging in there, and how are things going?
Well, just sitting here and sitting in the old office, and the phones are awfully quiet for this time of year. And of course, today is Wednesday, and we're supposed to be practicing at the King of America. And of course, we look at the weather down there, and it's, I don't know, set in the 70s and going to be a beautiful week. And kind of sucks, but you gotta do what we gotta do, I guess.
I'm gonna drink a couple Busch Lights for you tonight, and I need you to drink a couple for me. All right,
We can probably make that happen.
We're gonna get through this thing together. Did you, in your wildest dreams? I just talked to Scotty Allen a minute ago, and I just asked him the same question. Like, did you ever in your wildest dreams ever imagine we could deal with something like this? I never did.
No, this is something that's pretty unheard of. I mean, I've never dreamed that something like this would ever happen. And for a business like us, I mean, it's really tough. I mean, a lot of people in the racing world rely on racing to take care of themselves. And
yeah.
I mean, we have four businesses. We have the Hamilton County Speedway, the Mason City Motor Speedway, we have USRA, and we have USMTS. And if there's no racing going on, there is zero income coming in. And it's thank God we have some great sponsors, and hopefully we can get through this, and hopefully we'll be back at it here real soon.
So I know we hadn't really talked about this publicly, but man, you were on a trip last week, and I know it was kind of touch and go down to the end of it. It was an entire family trip. You guys had planned this thing for like a year or more. Obviously, looking back, the week that it was with spring break turned out to be crazy. You guys went on the trip. What was that like to get out of the country, and what was it like to get back, and what was it like while you were gone when all this was kind of spread like wildfire in the country?
Well, it was pretty crazy. I mean, of course there was. So I have a senior nephew, Greg,
Yeah.
that he wanted to go to the Bahamas for his senior trip, and so we planned this, and there ended up being 20 of us that went on this trip, and I'd say we left on Saturday, and I'd say on Thursday, people were all worried about what the plans were, if we were going to cancel. My brother was like, we probably really need to look at what's going on in the world and make a decision. Well, then we kind of all decided that we were going to go. And we left Saturday the 14th. And it was crazy out there, because I felt sorry we stayed at the Atlantis on Paradise Island. I felt sorry for those people, because they said that usually the slides and everything, it takes like an hour to go down the slides, and you can walk right up to the slide and go right down it.
Man,
They said that normally they're at 85%, 85% for their motels full, and they were at 17%. So it was pretty crazy. And then of course there's a casino there, and I was playing craps, and by the time the week had went on, we got there Saturday, and by Monday, they were down to only 3 people on each side of the craps table could play, and usually I think it's 7 or 8. And I'm just sitting there playing, and they're like, "Okay, table's done." And I'm like, "What do you mean it's done? It's 1:30 in the morning," and they just closed it down. And then the craps tables were done for the rest of the week. And then we started playing blackjack, and every other slot machine was open or shut off. And then on Thursday night, they said that was their last night, and they ended up closing the casino around 2:00 in the morning. And so it was done. It was closed, and there was no. I believe there might have been 0 or 1 case of in the Bahamas. So it was crazy. And then Saturday morning, we got up, went to the airport, went through customs, got right on our airplane, flew right to Minneapolis, got right off our airplane, and came home. So it was pretty easy. But I did hear that our airplane actually flew from Minneapolis to get us, and there was not one person on the airplane when they flew down to get us. So we were lucky to go home, I guess.
Yeah, no kidding. So you didn't have any of those crazy wait times like they talked about in some of the airports?
It was a little slow, but no, it wasn't too bad. They were trying to get people through, and Jan and I fly rather often, and we have the TSA pre-check, and they didn't have that down there, so we had to wait in all the lines, and we're just like a normal person down there, I guess.
Yeah. So what is the state? So you're in Hamilton County, Webster City, Iowa. Where I'm at, we're currently shelter in place essentially for 30 days. Are you guys under anything there?
No, I mean, of course, they just kind of go by what the CDC says. I think there's 100, as of last night, there was 124 cases in the state of Iowa. And at the one time, 35 of those were out of Iowa City, where two people came back from a cruise, and they infected all those people. And I'm sure most of those people are probably done with the virus now. And I mean, right now in Hamilton County, there's 0 cases, and hopefully it stays that way. But I'm just waiting for the green light and say, let's go race.
Yeah, no, I know you are. You and everybody, right? And it's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, so I'm just going to ask you. People ask me. I don't have an answer. You're not going to have an answer, but just so you get on the record and say, I honestly don't know. When do we race?
Yeah, exactly. I don't have a clue. As soon as they tell us that we can have gatherings or we can what we can do, we're gonna get after it. The nice thing is we had the King of America scheduled for this weekend, and then the Godfather for next weekend, and of course both of those races have been canceled. I know Joe was working hard at getting the Godfather in, and then the governor come out yesterday and basically put the old kibosh to that. Then we're off a week for Easter, and of course Trump came on yesterday and he said he wanted to get everybody back to working by Easter, so we can only wait and see what happens. I have talked to some people that have said that there's a good chance we might not be racing until Memorial Weekend. I mean, I've heard different things. I sure hope that none of that's the case. And right now we're scheduled to have USMTS at Park City, Kansas, the new track that John Allen is running. And then we go to I-35, and then we come to our home track here with the SLMR Late Model Series. So I'm hoping we get all 3 of those in, because that will be a great weekend, and hopefully people will be able to come out and support those races.
All right, I got a few other questions here, but we're going to take a field trip today. We're going to do several different things, so we got a little bit of time where we're going to talk and drive in a minute. Just kick back there, and what do you got around your office?
Oh, geez, I can't see that. I can't see my own picture, but of course, I've been racing a little bit. It was a struggle for a long time. Didn't win very many races. Didn't win any races actually. And then in 2018, we picked up 7 wins. In 2019, I only had 1, but it was a big win. It was a $3,000 win at the Hamilton County Speedway. And then, of course, this year, old KR called me out, and as you can see, the old belt's hanging there on the old trophy. Yep. And I come down there and showed him how to get it done, and looking forward. So the great thing is right now I am 1 for 1 for 2020.
That's incredible. 100%. How much fun has that been? You deciding to race here a little bit later on in your career?
Oh, I mean, I've always had the desire to do it, and I started working at the Hamilton County Speedway when I was 6 years old, and I was picking up garbage and cleaning bathrooms, and just started right at the bottom of the pole, and I lived right out by there, and I don't think I missed a race for probably my first 12 years. And then my mom would ground me or something, and she said, "You're not going to races," and I'd always find a way to get there. So,
yep.
But it's just been one of those things that I've always wanted to do. I've drove go-karts and never could race. And then one time we were down at, I think we were at Oski or Memphis, and Vanderbeek's like, "Give you a deal on this race car." So we bought his old race car that had won a lot of races with Bobby Griner and Brad Pinkerton and Zach, of course. And I think the first night I drove it off the track, and I was going forward and just went in a little bit hard. As most people know, I'll drive it as hard as it'll go.
Oh yeah. Hey,
and
so
now we just sit here and got a new Terminator that we got last year, right at the end of the year. And of course, everybody heard my stories of what happened at the Nationals and got it up on its side. And we still have 2 cars because we never sold any of them. So sitting out in my shop, there's 2 cars almost race ready to go. We're waiting on Sabisma to get us our wraps, and we'll be sitting there with 2 cars ready to go race.
I'm going to ask you one more question about your racing, and then you're going to have to jump up, and we're going to start this field trip. We got several things we're going to get to here. So when you're racing, is it all business about racing, or if you're about to win a race, are you like, hey, there's $1,000 I don't have to pay out tonight, or hey, there's $600 I don't have to pay out tonight. Like, do you think about, are you the promoter when you're racing, or is all you care about winning that race?
It's a strange thing because I was if you remember right, in 2018 I was leading the USRA Nationals.
Oh, I'll never forget it. Oh yeah, I remember.
I'm lap 27 of 30, and I drive it off the racetrack. And after the race was over, I had about 10 people come down and say, "You did that on purpose." And I'm like, "Yep." And I finished ninth on purpose. Don't you think if I was going to drive off the track, I would have finished second?
For sure.
So yes, when I do this, I know we get some people saying that it's not right that Todd Staley's out racing with them, but hey, I'm spending the money just like everybody else. I'm going to go out and I'm going to race you. And I try to be clean.
Yep.
And if someone rubs me, I'll probably give you a tap, but I don't want to cause problems for people. And I just go out there and I've had more speeding tickets driving down the highway, and this kind of slows me down a little bit. So I do have a lot of fun doing it. But when I go to race, I pretty much let my son Ryan take controls of the race.
Yep.
And there's a few times I wish I had a radio in there just to tell him, no, don't be doing that.
Give me that official.
But I always the nice thing about when you're on the racetrack is you see things that happen, and Ryan will say, "Well, here's the call," and it's like, "No, that's not the call."
So has it changed your perspective? So for the most part, the USMTS guys get along pretty good, right? And you go up and down the road, and everybody gets along pretty good. Has racing maybe changed your perspective? Like when a guy feels like that you've made a call, like are you a little more empathetic, I guess is my question now that you've raced it? Maybe sometimes they might see something a little different, and like in their heart of hearts they believe that, and you've made your call and that doesn't always line up. Has it been able to smooth that process over when you have to go through that, knowing what you've done?
Well, the biggest problem is, we get to be friends with all of our racers.
Yep.
And over the years, I had to make a few calls on Tommy Meyer, for example, that I didn't want to make. And of course, we used to all travel together. It used to be 10 or 15 of us that used to drive down the highway together. And that's kind of changed over the years. We don't so much do that. But I've had to make a few calls on Derek Ramirez and Jason Hughes. And I consider all of our racers friends, whether it's Rodney Sanders, Ryan Gustin, all those guys. They're all friends of mine, and they're friends of our family. And that's the cool thing about racing. And it doesn't matter if you're in the stock car division or the B-Law division or the hobby stock division. Everybody is just a big family, and that's what's cool about the racing thing. I have a lot of people that come to our pit in Webster City and ask if we have the parts, and I'll give out. Heck, I let Mitch Hovden drive my car at the USRA Nationals last year after he blew his up, and I think that's probably the fastest that car ever went. But no, it's
easy. Somewhere KR will be listening to that and be asking for a ride now. Now that you've said that.
Well, he told me that he's bringing a stock car to the Nationals this year, and I said, "Well, you better bring your A game." And his A game is what it is, and hate to lap him in a heat race.
Oh, that's savage.
But I'm going to make sure that he's in my heat. I'm just not going to let him start in front of me because I know what that does to you. I did that up there at the last race we did with him. So.
Oh man. Hey, just take me a trip back down memory lane. My wife talked to Janet the other day, and just kind of take a minute about what Janet means to you, and in that kind of that same breath, looking back, just maybe a couple of the three best USMTS races just off the top of your head that you can remember that you've ever witnessed and presided over.
Sure. My wife does everything. She's helped make this thing what it is today. She controls the money part of it, which, as everybody knows, I'm a pretty big gambler. I like to go gambling. If it wasn't for her, who knows at that point some money would be there at the end of the year. So she's a major part of this. And the crazy thing about my wife is, a lot of times she gets to listen to everybody bitch at her about what happened and all this, and heck, she don't even see half the races.
Yeah.
She sits in her trailer and she does her thing, and she takes care of the merchandise. We've been married I started dating her as a 10th grader, and of course soon as the races got over, we'd go to the prom after the races after I worked.
God bless you. That's a good woman.
So when she first came on board, she never even went to the races. She didn't even like the races. She's like, that's the stupidest thing ever. And I got her trained pretty well. And then she started working for the late Howard Mellinger, taking tickets. And then we'd drink and party till 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the morning. And it's just been, like I said, it's a great family. We got our 2 kids into it, Ryan and Logan. And then Ryan got married to Morgan, which is Al Hanna's daughter, which Al's raced with us for lots of years.
Yep.
Then they got us 2 great grandkids. So I mean, hopefully this USMTS and USRA legacy will just keep going on and on and on. And I know my wife and we're in our 50s and we're looking at the future. So I mean, if we can get another great 10 years out of this would be awesome.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's cool to hear, man. So these interviews that I've been doing with all these different racers, and we've got a ton over on our website. It's neat because nobody's really in the heat of the moment right now, and it's cool to hear some old stories. So,
oh yeah. One other thing I think we should just mention is I do think besides the USMTS having a great, I mean, I still believe to today that it is the most competitive racing series in the country.
Yep.
No matter if it's sprint cars, late models, what it is, I think that our racers are the most competitive racers in the country, and part of that is, I mean, we got to give credit to where it's due, and it's the racers. I mean, they come there with great equipment, and it's just cool to see all the racing that goes on. I mean, and then another thing that's cool to me is everyone always says, well, you can't compete with those guys. And then to go see Jason Ingalls and Bo Day win races. I mean, that's so cool. Then the other thing I want to mention is all of our great employees that we have. I mean, we've put together a great deal with Racing Dirt, Trenton and you and Robert and Michael and Tyler. And I mean, it's been going on for a long time. I'm really proud of what we've accomplished together. And then of course we got to thank our employees. I mean, Jeff Nunn, he's the best in the business at what he does. He's been great. He's been on with us for quite some time. I mean, our website always looks awesome.
Yep.
Everything that we have, I mean, when we do it, it's 100% done. Bryce Hall has done a great job with USRA, getting more tracks. Casey and Sarah at our office doing a great job. Brad Ratcliffe does our track prep at Webster City and runs the races for us when we're not around. Ryan Staley, can't say enough for what he's done with all the sponsors and getting contingencies. Darlo and Trevor, our two tech guys, do a great job. Geez, am I missing somebody? Tyler Rinkin came on board and did a bunch of stuff for us last year.
Yep, that office has to run like a top hat when you guys are out too, and that doesn't just happen.
It does, and what's crazy is like our phones ring. I mean, like at this time of year, we usually have 50 to 100 phone calls, and right now, I mean, I've been here all day, and there's not been one phone call. So
there it is. Speaking of the devil, ask for it.
And then your final question was, name 3 of the best races that I can ever remember.
Yeah, or just whatever's at the top of your mind.
I can think of the first one has to be, of course, everybody remembers Brandon Davis at the old Fall Jamboree here a couple of years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Jason Hughes. I mean, that race was, I was standing up there doing all the race directing, and my hair was standing up on my arms because it was so exciting. Race number 2, I'd probably have to go back to Brad Pinkerton starting way in the back at Oskaloosa.
Okay.
He drove all the way. Kelly Schrock had about a half a track lead on him when he caught him with no yellows and beat him. And then, boy, I don't know. Then after that was I know we had a couple good races last year. We had a great race with Ryan and Derek and TP at Urbana. We had a great race at Rock Rapids.
Yeah, with Derek the year before.
Yep. We've just had some great races over the years, and it's hard to pick out probably one for sure. But those 2 were the ones that stick in my mind. Yeah. We're on our 22nd year, and shit, sometimes I can't remember what happened yesterday.
I understand. All right, so we've got a 3-part field trip planned here. So in just a second, I'll need you to flip the camera around. We're going to go, so attached to your office is there where you're at. You've got your shop where your race cars are at. You've got a special little treat there we're going to look at as well. We're going to go take a look at the souvenir trailer right outside. And then as long as the connection holds, we're going to take a field trip out to the Hamilton County Speedway. So I've got nothing but time. You flip that camera around and you just kind of take over for right here.
Well, we'll take a quick little walk around. Let me grab my glasses. We'll take a quick walk around the old around the USMTS office.
All right.
Hopefully you can see everything.
Just flip that camera around on there, and that way you can see it. Yep. Just flip it right there. Tap your screen, and then there'll be a button.
Where's it at? Flip.
There you go. It'll be a lot easier for you that way.
Okay. Well, here's of course Ryan's office. He's got a nice little clean office. Yeah, big. I know a lot of people don't like it, but he's a big old Hawkeye fan. So.
Oh yeah. I love anybody. Cool. I love anybody loyal to their teams, man. That's your guys' team. That's cool.
Then we come over here and we got our back office where we keep all of our souvenirs and that kind of stuff. We got every shirt. Some year we're going to build a quilt. It'll be a big quilt of all the shirts that we've ever had. Here's some of our shadow boxes with stuff in them.
Oh, I love those. Those are so cool. I was lost in those.
I can't let you look at my office because it's really a mess, but we got to get a better picture of all these cool things here.
All these winnings.
All these winning
there
things.
We are. You're just wearing them out. Just wearing them out.
A couple more shadow boxes. This was back in what year was that? Matt Dotson was our USRA national champion. Troy Hovey.
Yeah, recent. More recent than.
Yeah. Here's a fall jamboree from 2013. Jason Hughes was your winner.
Oh yeah.
And then of course one of our champions, and that was the same year, 2013, was Rodney Sanders.
Todd, I think if he sticks with it, we're going to think about him like we think about Kelly right now. I interviewed him earlier this week. He said he doesn't really care how he's remembered. He just wants to race, and if people think that's cool. He's a special talent.
Oh man, Rodney is a great kid. He's going through a lot of things right now, and I think of him all the time. So here's our copy machine office.
Yep.
Our front office here, and then we come into Sarah's office. Sarah's office here, and then we have our conference room back here in the back.
There's where you lay down the law right there. I've been at that table a few times.
Yeah, this is where we get her all done. So then we'll head out to the shop and get to see all my toys.
I love it. I can't wait till you show us the last one. I think you're going to blow people's minds.
Oh, so this year we picked up Super Clean as one of our sponsors. And,
yep.
And they're supposed to be. We thought they were sending stuff to the racetrack, and as you can see, we're having a booth at every USMTS race where they give away some Super Clean stuff, and so they send it all to us, and that's where it goes. But of course, here's my toys. Here's a couple of my toys. It's got two Harris Terminator stock cars sitting here. One's neither one of them are ready. I mean, we couldn't go race today because. This one's missing the motor yet. It's up getting freshened. This one's got a motor, but the rear end is over here on the floor.
Gotcha. You run Kevin Stowa Power, correct, in those?
Yep, Kevin Stowa Power. And then my pride and joy.
Yes. Yes.
People can't hardly believe it, but I really do have a craps table right here at the old office. As you can see, it's Larry has set some stuff on our craps table, but
little disrespectful, don't you think?
we practice.
So
people say that you can't master it, but it don't matter if you master it. But if you can figure out a way to not throw a 7 for 5 or 6 or 7 more rolls, that's what it's all about. So.
Now, where that thing actually came out of the casino, right? Like, tell the whole story there. How you came into ownership of that thing?
So I actually I found it on the internet. A guy bought it, but it was a Harris Casino craps table, and he called me and told me what he wanted for it, and so we worked out a deal. He brought it down, and we just set it up out here. And a couple friends of mine and everybody, we come out here and work, or we practice a lot. We haven't practiced for quite a while, but we just get busy and don't have a chance. But we want to have some craps tournaments or something, especially right now with everything being down.
So I've practiced with you on that table. I've been to the Todd Staley short course for craps. I've rolled for you a few times actually at the casinos around different places we've been. Would you say my craps game is what? Would you give me what, about a D minus?
That's the problem with craps is most people are about a D minus. Most people don't play it the way it's supposed to be played. And I'm not saying that I play it right, but I've won a lot of money playing craps over the years, and I've lost a lot, but we don't talk about that.
That's right. You only remember the ones you win, right? Just like racing.
Yep, that's exactly right. But no, it's just a fun game. I think it's one of the best in the casino. And my story with the craps table was I always knew how to play the game, and I was down in Des Moines at Prairie Meadows playing, and I was playing blackjack, which I always played blackjack. And one year when I was running the Oskaloosa track, we'd stop there every Wednesday night. And I'm going to flip this back around for a minute.
Yep.
And we'd stop there every Wednesday night on our way home. And I took them for a lot of money those couple of years. And I actually ran the tables out of money on the blackjack table.
Savage.
So one day I was sitting at the blackjack table playing. I think I was up about $6 or $7 grand playing blackjack, and I'm like, you know what? I think I need to go try craps. We walked over there, and Mick Traer, he was a promoter up here in Iowa. He was there that day, and he walked up to me, and I counted my money right at that time, and I was up $70,000. First time playing the game. And Mick had walked up and he's like, how much money you got on the table right now? And I said, I counted it, and it was like 25,000. And all the people that work at the casino were back there like nervous that I was going to wipe them out. And ever since then, I've just been hooked. I mean, it's just one of those things. I mean, we've had a lot of fun with it. I've learned a few lessons over the years. You get a little braver as time goes on, and I've learned over the years not to do that. So we just play it smart now and take it as it comes.
Understand. All right. So
and if you're gonna be a gambler, let me just tell you, if you're gonna be a gambler, take to the casino what you want to lose, and keep your credit cards and everything else away, because gambling is a major addiction, and I can tell you that. So
there you go.
So,
all right, let's go out and look at your souvenirs, and then hop in your truck and we'll go out to the racetrack.
Okay, let me shut some lights off here. So we'll walk out to the trailer.
All right. Flip that camera back around. Yeah.
Yep, we'll flip her back around. Okay, so here's the old big motor home. She's all plugged in. Trailer's still a mess from we got home from Texas.
Tell me about while we walk out here, just kind of discuss a little bit. Your merchandise game over the years has become a big part of what you guys do. You're all the time working through new inventory. You work with a ton of different designers and companies. Just how do you guys keep all the inventory managed and make sure that you have what you need when you have to go leave and be on the road, sometimes for multiple weeks at a time?
Yeah, once again, it's just one of those things that last year we had about 19 designs. This year we backed it down just because we had so much left at the end of the year. Oh, crap, I left the keys. We had so much inventory left because we'd been rained out so much that this year we've only got like 10 designs. We use Sabisma, we use Impact, we use 905 Inc., we use ASI, we use Indie Screen Print, and we use Arizona. So we have about 7 or 8 different designers that we use. They all do a great job. One of the things, and it's not just USMTS or USRA or just us. It's everybody. Lucas Oil Racing, World of Outlaws, all the racers. I mean, all of them. Usually they get like probably a 30-day time to get all their bills paid with all these vendors.
Yep.
And at the beginning of the year, it's really tough because, I mean, it takes time to get all these guys paid. And, of course, now our 30 days are up. And we're lucky because we've gotten in at least 5 races. So we've sold a few shirts, but
sure,
we still have a lot of merchandise on hand. So our vendors are wanting paid. And so we're working hard. And we really want people to go out and get online and buy some shirts and help us get our vendors paid. Because it's going to be a tough time here if we don't race until till June, or who knows how long this thing could last. But so our trailer's, like I said, it's still a little bit of a mess.
Right.
We drove home from our last race.
And this doubles as your office on race night, where you handle all the sign in and the draw.
Yep, this is our trailer that we do when we get here. Of course, we drive down the road. We got lots of stuff. But here's some of our designs for this year. That's one that Impact did. I believe that's one that Impact did.
Yep.
There's the one ASI did. There's one that 905 Inc. did. There's one that Indy Screen Print did. Another one that 905 Inc. did. That's one 905 Inc. did, and that's one that Arizona did. So
yeah, the stuff all looks good.
We got the big mat in the middle. Here's our hoodie design from Sabisma this year. If you need a hoodie, be sure to let us know. We'll get you taken care of. Here's another USMTS hoodie.
And that shopusmts.com online, probably the best way to get those orders right now, right?
Yep. That's the best way to get that taken care of. So that's pretty much the trailer. That's pretty much everything we got going on right here. Shut off some lights here.
That thing had a fresh wrap on it too, wasn't it? Middle of last season.
Yep, last year we got the new wrap. Sabisma put on the new wrap for us, and it's looked really nice. And all of our great sponsors that help us out: Rancho Malargo, American Racer, MVT, Sabisma. Of course, our title sponsor, Summit Racing Equipment.
Yep.
Casey's General Store. Couldn't do it without all these people.
Casey's been with you a long time, man. They've done a lot for grassroots racing, and Summit's really become a major player too. I know when we were down there in Dallas, just walking through that retail store was pretty impressive.
Yeah, it was. It's that place has really done. They've come a long ways, and we're glad to have Summit on board. Jim and crew do an awesome job with the racing. There's my other toy that we'll start getting in here next week.
Is that going to the racetrack?
That'll be going out to the racetrack. So that's kind of everything around here. We'll go see if we can keep our connection and go on a little road trip out to the Hamilton County Speedway.
I love it. We're going to go right through downtown Webster City. I'm going to need you to tell me some of these businesses, places you like to go. Give a shout to some of the local people around there that can maybe use some support for when people are watching this on your page later.
You bet.
While we drive down through there.
We're jumping in my wife's vehicle. Logan is using mine. He started his job this week. So he's using my vehicle. But we'll make a little road trip.
All right. So far, so good here. I like it.
There's not a whole lot of businesses in Webster City anymore. So we'll have to. There's one of our sponsors over across the street from us. That's the Trash Man.
Yep.
There are garbage picker-uppers. Let's see here. Another one of our big sponsors that we've had over the past couple of years is Tex Trail Trailer Parts. That's them right there. Let's see here. We'll just cruise on down through. Actually, we won't even be able to hit most of Main Street because they're redoing our streets now. Right. But we'll.
So while we're heading out here, something to think about too before we get into some more in town. You know, I was so ate up with racing as a kid, Todd. I remember when I knew we would be getting close to the racetracks, and I was so proud for the series to go see where I started last year at Urbana, and that's where I went as a kid on every Friday night. And it seemed like when we got to the little gas station right there in town, just north of the racetrack, we'd make that turn left to get on the highway to go to the track. I kind of started to get nervous butterflies and whatever, and it was just a stupid thing, but I knew at a young age racing meant that much to me. You kind of get those feelings when you were a kid driving through Webster City headed to your track?
No, I was probably the biggest race fan ever to come out of Webster City. I'm pretty sure. All through school, everything that I did through school, my English papers, my everything was always racetrack.
Yep.
I think my senior year in my composition class, or what year that was, my whole story was the Hamilton County Speedway and how I wanted to be the promoter of the racetrack, and of course in 2000 18, that dream came true of the Fair Board, and I worked out a deal, and I became the promoter at the Hamilton County Speedway, which I promoted. One year, I promoted 5 racetracks. I had Cresco, I had Britt, I had Oskaloosa, I had Bloomfield, and I had Memphis, Missouri. We had 5 weekly racetracks that we promoted every Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I had two of them ran on Fridays, and so I had to split places between Bloomfield and Britt. But it was pretty much crazy. It was crazy, and then it was just one of those things that once I lost Ed Scheckler was a big part of my success down in southern Iowa and northern Missouri at Bloomfield and Memphis. That once we lost him to pancreas cancer, that we had to change our ways, and we kind of got rid of the racetracks and started to just hit USMTS real hard, and then as I said, we got the USRA thing going, and it's been going good since. And we started Hamilton County Speedway in 18, and then in 2019, of course, we had a great season. We averaged about 107 cars, and then now hopefully this everything gets lifted and we kick off our 2020 race season.
Sure, and I know you're looking at a 10-year agreement with that, and I just think that the people of Webster City, to know what you've done for the sport of racing, I just don't know how they could even consider letting somebody else make decisions there. And it's kind of a weird, Iowa's really controlled by fair boards for the most part and whatnot, but man, I don't see how you're not the long-term guy there, and knowing what that racetrack means to you and your family and everything. It's that's as much of a slam dunk no-brainer as I can think of.
Yeah, if anybody wants to read a good story, Troy Banning, he's our sports editor here at our local newspaper, the Daily Freeman Journal. He did a great story today on the Hamilton County Speedway and interviewing me on this crisis that we're in. So, if you want to check out a nice story, just go Google Freeman Journal, the Daily Freeman Journal, and go to the sports section and check it out. Troy Banning did a great job with that. So, he gives us a full page every Tuesday, I believe, of what's happened at the Hamilton County Speedway. So like you said, we love this place. We've had a lot of pride in it. This is where I basically got my start in racing, and hopefully the Fair Board knows that I put a lot of pride into it, and they'll give me 10 more years.
Man, and we're going to look at some things out there, but a lot of times, unfortunately, it seems like a lot of these promoters in Iowa are in and out at these racetracks, and it's all about the money grab of what they can do. You've put a tremendous amount back into this place.
Yes, we fixed up the VIP booth. We fixed up the announcer shack. We fixed up we put in a new PA system. We put some windows in our ticket booth. We put a lot of pride, time, and money into this place. Okay, we'll have to open up the gate. Got the gate locked shut, but that's not a big deal. They've got people out here doing donuts out in their parking lot, and the Fair Board don't like that. So
that's understandable.
I just went by the river, and it hasn't been that nice here. And someone was going down the river on a kayak. Like, holy cow! It's 47 degrees here. Man, if they fell in, that would be very chilly.
That would not be good. Not be good. All right, so we're here at the gate of the fairgrounds. This is a cool old racetrack, and hey, I'm not a guy inherently. I've said it time and time again. I don't love half miles, but this one races pretty good for a big track.
Yeah, it don't race nothing like a half mile. I've been on some big half miles over the years, and this one races more like a 3/8 to me. But it is really a cool place, and it's down you walk down into the ground, and the only thing that you don't ever want to have happen is have a big rainstorm and everybody's stuck in the pits, because it's tough to get out of sometimes.
Yeah, for sure.
But no, the Fair Board here is they're great to work with. We have a nice county fair still. We have some great events during our county fair, and like I said, it's just hopefully we get 10 more years on this place, and then hopefully by then my son's ready to try the same thing. But
You bet.
Okay, we'll shut off here. We'll shut off the truck.
I think you probably will be, don't you? I'm pretty impressed with Ryan's dedication and commitment to the sport. I think you've trained him well, my man.
Oh, he's done a great job, and I'm looking forward to him. He already wants to run the races. He wants to run the USMTS and go out and do this thing. So, well, as I said, we were supposed to race this weekend down here.
Uh-huh.
And the problem with the Hamilton County Speedway is there's trees all along the backstretch where the river runs, and the sun doesn't get much. The backstretch doesn't get much sun. As you can see, it's still pretty wet out there, so we haven't been able to do any work at the Speedway yet. But hopefully here next week we'll start working on it and get some practices in while we're waiting. Here's our handicap deck. All the handicaps can come here and they got their own spot. They get to sit up on the deck and watch the races.
Yeah, great view right there.
And then we got that's our view here. This place is pretty cool because it's still got the covered grandstands. A lot of people still sit in there night after night, keep the sun off of them.
Yep.
The only thing that's bad about it, of course, is the poles, but you can't get away from the poles. There's our big old sandbox we put in for the kids.
Man, so I was there for the makeup of the USRA Nationals, man. That sandbox was just full of kids all night long. That was a really cool addition.
Yeah, it's been pretty cool. And then we'll walk in here to the VIP booth, and I'll show you the best view in the whole racetrack is this party deck that Murphy Carpentry put up for us. Matthews Plumbing had to come out and help us, and Lampert Lumber, all sponsors of our speedway. But this place is there's not a better view to watch races from than right here.
No, it's incredible right there. Incredible.
But I mean, you sit up here and you see people how hard they come into the corners. Usually, this place is a pretty good spot because I have the tendency to hit right there.
Yep.
But no, this is the whole thing. I mean, it looks like a big place. It holds we can get about 150 cars in our pit area, so that tells you something.
Enough to put on a race. USRA Nationals obviously there. That went really well. It'd have been nice if you could have got a little help with Mother Nature there. That wasn't so nice, but as far as the reschedule went, I think it went pretty well.
Yeah, it went good. I think we had our fall futurity going on at the same time. So when we took this place on, this VIP booth was.
It was not very nice, and it
was in bad shape.
And it is really nice now. Everybody just hang on until he swings the door open here. This is cool.
Which we got all our chairs for the party deck in here, but
yep.
No, it's this place is pretty. All the power's turned off, but this is our VIP booth. We've done a nice job fixing it up.
Very nice.
And of course, we got the shades down right now, but it's a fun place. We got some good sponsors that help take care of the place, and it's cool. It's just a cool thing that we got going on at the Hamilton County Speedway, and hopefully people keep supporting it. We got another racetrack 20 miles away from us. One of my friends, Andy Jones, is taking on the track, and so now we have 3 USRA tracks within about 90 miles of each other that'll race on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Love it.
So hopefully it's just a great 2020 season once we get going.
You bet. Man, I know you probably feel like you got the weight of the world on your shoulders, and a lot of people are relying on you to make decisions, but you're the right man for the job, bud.
You know, I appreciate that. I know I was listening to Hot Carl here the other day talking about don't cancel that race.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people think that this whole thing is a joke, and I mean, there's one side of me that still thinks that what's going on is. I mean, I don't want to get political or anything.
Yep.
I think some of it might be a little bit political, but I'll just keep that to myself. But I mean, the virus is a bad virus. I'm pretty sure that Jan and I had it in December before they even knew what was going on.
A lot of people have come out and said that. They thought they did.
I mean, we were sick for 3 to 4 weeks, and it was one of those things that I come home from the PRI show, and I got sick that next day after seeing Janet, and she'd been sick. She was sick for like four weeks. But here's our announcer's booth and our pit shack.
Yep.
We got a brand new scores tower coming up this year, so the old racing dirt people can sit inside and not get bit by bugs.
Oh God, thank you so much.
We got to take care of those
yes.
guys.
Yes.
But that's pretty much the Hamilton County Speedway. So I'm glad this thing worked out for us. And
yep.
Let me flip this thing back around. But I'm glad this whole thing worked out, and we could do this video. I'm really, as I said, I'm really excited to get things going. I don't want to be sitting at home, but I'm also, like I said, we've been doing this for 22 years, and I'm not going to take the risk of losing my business license or anything like that to just go have a race and make a buck. But all I can say is that once we get to race, I know some people are going to be probably struggling a little bit. Please get out and support all the local racetracks. I don't care what sanction it is. Just get out and support them. We're all gonna need to get after it, and we're even gonna try maybe a few special nights so we can get drivers their nights.
Yep.
We'll do some other racing just to, when the USMTS is off, we might do a Tuesday night race or a Thursday night race and get points just to give people their 16 nights of point nights, because we want to make sure that everybody gets their full point funds. And one thing that we're doing at the Hamilton County Speedway, don't forget, as long as we keep getting a good crowd, we're only going to charge $5 to get in for a while. See if we can get a good crowd and pack this place. But hopefully this thing don't last very long, and we can get after it.
There you are, man. Nobody on the face of the earth has done more for dirt modifieds than you, and I'm so proud to be aligned with you and what you're doing there in your home community too, man. It's truly a treat to be associated with what you got going on. So thank you.
No, yeah, we appreciate that. And as I said, if anybody needs some T-shirts, make sure our website's down for some reason. I know Casey was going to call your wife and see what was up if she knew. But if anybody can help us out, we need to get our vendors paid off. So if you want to order your 2020 merchandise, just to help us out until we get racing, that would be greatly appreciated. And as I said, not just USMTS. I mean, you got all the racers; they got all their stuff, and they need to get that stuff paid for. And we don't want to make all these vendors sit there and wait to get paid, because, I mean, we're all in the same position.
You bet. Thank you, buddy. I'll let you get back to it. I appreciate your time today.
You bet. Thank you.
All right, there he is, Todd Staley with us, the man behind USMTS and USRA, and top shelf human being. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that one. That was cool. We'll talk to you next time.